What's up, everybody? OG here, and as you can see, we are down to 2 weeks for you to order the Ultimate Edition so you can receive an icon from launch, which is way better than previous years, on top of other perks such as 6,000 FC points this year. Again, better than previous years where it was 4,600 points. Now, I think it's spread out, but either way, it's still, 1,400 extra points that you get on top of an icon from launch. For me, that's a steal of a deal. Now, I always get the Ultimate Edition because of how much I play the game, but in previous years, I would say I get it if you don't find the points useful and you can make do without it. The hero, you always had to wait for, and then I think we even got an upgraded hero, but by the time they would give us everything, it always seemed like it was too little too late. Having an icon from launch, right, in itself is huge. Then, even if they disperse the points, those are always useful to boost up your team, right? You open packs, boost your team up, you play drafts to then get packs to boost your team up. Either way, it's all good stuff, as well as all the perks you get for clubs and manager career and stuff like that if you're interested in that. So, at least check it out. But this 2-week mark until the deadline, right, for the Ultimate Edition perks also signifies that we are getting closer and closer to the release of FC26. Now, if you've seen my content, you know my trend has been preparing for FC26, right? If you have the beta, that's even better, but if not, I've been helping people with settings, with different ways to play to get rid of all the bad habits that won't be around in 26. Now, I have to give a disclaimer. None of this is from my experience playing the beta. As you know, there's a ton of leaked footage from the beta, as well as the loophole content creators who went to the EA Sports headquarters and played the game before the beta. There's a loophole where they're able to talk about all that stuff, but they just can't talk about their experience in playing the beta, right? So with that being said, there's just a ton of information, which is what allows me to make the video I made today. And it's going to be a meta tactics video day one. But as all my tactics video, I'm not just going to say, play this formation, use these settings, good luck. We're going to break down why this is going to help you so much. And I'm going to give you the first starter team of the year. This is a low gold starter team. Now, low rated gold starter teams are important to at least have like an idea of the players you want to go for. Just because right off the bat, if you can hit the ground running, if you can get a viable team on the pitch, you can get a head start on everybody, right? Not just a head start on, you got the Ultimate Edition, you can start, doing the Foundations SBCs and stacking up coins, but I'm talking actually getting out on the pitch and having a viable team that can compete with anybody, right? You're going to see those teams that are going to have those higher rated gold cards, which we're going to do a starter team of that caliber too. It's going to be a little more expensive, but we'll do a starter team for that in a future video. But for this team that I'm showing you today through Footbin, you are going to be able to get them pretty quickly. There's a few of these players that you're going to have to decide if they're worth it or not. That are going to be pretty expensive for lower golds. In the past, everyone said they're not worth it because they're going to lose value so quickly. They're going to, fall past the power curve way too quick to be worth that many coins at the beginning. However, this year they're saying they're slowing down the power curve, right? Slowing down the amount of promos they release as well, which affects the power curve. Who knows how much that's going to be? That's just what they said. So maybe these cards will hold their value more. But this is the squad. And as you notice, the formation isn't the beloved 4-2-1-3. So a little backstory. Some of you may know this, a lot of you may not. The 4-2-1-3 was not very popular when it came out a few years ago. It wasn't a formation that was just in the former FIFAs that carried over to FC. It's a newer formation. And then a guy by the name of Anders Vergen came along and used it in pro tournaments, and the 4-2-1-3 just blew up, and now it is by far the most powerful setup, maybe even in the history of the franchise. Arguably, you could say 4-3-2-1 a few years ago when it was 2 center forwards and a striker instead of 2 cams and a striker. Arguably, you could say that was the most powerful, but it's one of the most powerful setups, and no one realized it. Everyone thought it was a glorified 4-3-3 until Vergang started dominating, and then everyone realized the attack, the way it's set up, everybody's in just the perfect seams to just receive through ball after through ball and dangerous pass after dangerous pass to create quick scoring chances before your opponent can get set up defensively. Then having the 2 CDMs on the defensive side and a full, as good of a defensive setup as you can get, it makes it super powerful. I don't think it's going to be nearly as powerful this year. And again, this is based on the leaks. I'm not going to keep saying that this will be the last time I say it, but based on all the footage we've gotten, plus what the content creators talked about, right, that visited headquarters and played the game, we can be very, very confident, right, if not positive, that quick passing and moving off the ball to create future passing lanes and scoring chances, that's going to be the name of the game. So, for example, as we go through this squad, let me go over here real quick before we go through that, though. If I have the ball here with my, let's say, deep line playmaker, right, and I play the ball in to my number 10, who plays it out wide. Now, what I was saying is opening up runs to get the ball in the future, right? It could even be I play the ball here, right? Then play it up to feet here, then back here. All the while, this player is making a run. After the layoff, up to my striker, this player starts making a run, okay? Now, as I'm making all these passes, these defenders are going to be moving all over the place to try to get the ball. The attackers obviously are going to be more up here, right? These defenders are going to be pushed up trying to win the ball. And then you're going to find openings, okay? Whether it's here, whether it's this player making a run in and you play that long through ball, or maybe it's to your striker's feet who you didn't make a run with. You stayed put so they could receive it back to their feet. And then they can maybe turn and get it and play the through ball. But everything's going to be quick passes, right? And then sending your players on runs. And hoping with the goal of throwing your opponent's defense off, right? Because they're going to be trying to cut off passing angles, trying to keep track of where the ball's going with the quicker movement, right? And what that's going to do is eventually lead to mistakes by their defense, which opens up holes. You're going to have so many goals where you're pinging the ball around, right? Passing and moving. You're going to have so many goals where the defense just forgets about this player that started making a run 3 passes ago, and then you're able to slot them through because the defense has moved on and started worrying about where the ball is at, and the next player receiving the ball, the nearest players to it, as opposed to worrying about this runner that took off, 3 passes ago. You see a lot of that, as opposed to the good old 4-2-1-3 where the ball's here and then it goes through here. Or the ball's here, no, it goes through here. Everything was slotted, and a big reason for that, as you see in the leaked videos, is that the AI marking is a lot better. That's what I noticed. Like, why aren't those openings there as much? I was trying to look, and every time I watched a leaked video, the main thing I noticed is that, one, to win the ball, you have to control the defender. So that's huge. That's a plus, right? So many people get that confused when I say like the AI defensively is better. It's like, well, what do you mean? They're saying the AI is worse. They can't win the ball. Yes, they cannot tackle the ball and do the job for you. But they're marking, meaning they're not just going to be this defender. If this player's making a run, this defender is not just going to be standing here daydreaming as you slot the ball through. Now, in 26, this defender will be here, or at the very least, chasing here and in an area where they can make a tackle, as opposed to 25, they're here, right? The ball's going here, and that's giving a ton of chances. 26, the ball's going here, this player's here, right? Now, 25, this defender, you could control, like, for instance, number 3 here, and this defender would win the ball, and now you can take it and attack. No, this year, this defender will be marking good, If you're controlling number 3, guess what? This player is going to zip around with the ball, right? And this player is going to be a glorified cone. That's where the defensive AI doesn't help you. But the marking will be tighter, which will then allow you, if you're on your game, to switch to that defender and then better cut out that through ball. So, why then is the 4-4-1-1 so powerful, right? Which is what we're using with the cam, obviously, because they took out center forward. There used to be one with center forward and striker, even though we would automatically go with the one with the cam anyway in this situation. But why then is this so powerful? Because this opens up all those different abilities to pass the ball, right? Make a run, and then as that run's going on, you're pulling the defense, you're pulling their attention elsewhere, then looking for those balls through, right? You will be attacking at times with your 2 wingers going forward, your striker maybe showing 2, maybe making a run, this cam making runs through, or just showing 2 right here, and then you have a deep lying playmaker, right? In this case, you have Fratesi. Okay, it could be anybody, but you have Fratesi. Now, going over why I chose these players and why this is the one of the best starting squads that you can have, okay? One, like I just said, they fit perfectly to pass and move and to get into the attack. Picture Mainu as another extension of this back 4, right? Which means that you would be attacking with Marmouche, Sinistera, Bellegarde, Fratesi, and Thomas, okay? The rest, your back 4 and Mainu, they're staying back, okay? Just picture that. It's already dangerous. You already have a dangerous front 4 just like you would in the 4-2-1-3. Now, if you noticed in the videos, a lot of the league videos, they were showing off the inverted wingback, which, by the way, Lewis, he has the false back plus or whatever. You better believe anybody with that kind of false back, they're most likely going to have inverted wingback. Or, if not, anybody with attacking wingback from 25 will most likely have inverted wingback. One of those two, you better believe it, because of 2 reasons, which is why these out of positions don't mean anything, okay? One, they did a lot more positions for these players starting off. Why? Because they actually listened to the player base who was like, it's too restrictive, right? To have a winger that would sometimes have right wing but not right mid, that's the dumbest thing in the world. So now not only do they have everyone who's a right wing is a right mid, but also if there's a player like Bellegarde, right, he's going to be able to play cam as well, without a doubt, because he has at least some attacking abilities in real life if you know him, okay? Another player, Thomas, who has like left wing but not left mid or whatever, someone like that, or Salah had a few cards like that, that will be no longer. So these out of positions you don't have to worry about. Who's another one that's out of position here? I think that's all I have here, but there's other instances of this. You guys know the certain players where it drove you crazy, where in real life they can play that position. Bellingham's another one, right? Bellingham was restricted sometimes. I remember getting, I forgot which card it was, and I was like, that makes no sense whatsoever. He could easily play that position. Obviously they do that so you buy future cards, but they hurt us and they made that change. So don't pay attention to the out of positions. But on top of that, when you add up the new focuses, right, these new roles, as well as the better AI marking, not AI defending, right, which is they win the ball for you, because now more than ever you have to switch to the defender and win the ball, but AI marking, which means that you don't have to worry about the opponent just spraying through balls every time, and your AI defenders standing there like they're forgetting they're playing a football game, right? The marking will be there. You'll just have to be aware, switch to the defender, and win the ball back. With all that improved, you now have better options with regards to how you use these players. So, going back to our tactics, if we reset everything, right? Oh, it won't let me undo it. That's okay. We'll pull our players back into the 4-4-1-1, right? You now have better options, such as if I play this player as either a false back, let's say I have Lewis, right? We see Lewis there. That's who I'm controlling. My false as a false back, either as a CDM or a CM when we have the ball based on his focus, or an inverted wing back that comes in and plays as a cam, or maybe even like a shadow striker, I believe, based on the focus you can put him on. Either way, here or here, false back, inverted wing back. Let's just pretend false back for now. You can then maybe take your CM, and instead of worrying about them being more defensive, right, you can now go from a, let's say, deep line playmaker to a playmaker in the attack, because now you have this option still here. You don't have to worry about that disappearing, right? Then you could also do something like this. You could bring that player in again, either as a false back or as a new inverted wing back, and there's a cam. But this player could now maybe be a wide half. So now when we have the ball, they become a wide half, which was a widely unused player role that, you know, was there just collecting dust in 25. But then this winger's there, right? Well, you can then push them into inside forward, or maybe even wide playmaker, where they receive the ball and move inside, and then that opens up this center mid that becomes a wide half, maybe like a Puteus comes out here, and now that's your winger on offense. But then defensively, she comes back inside and helps this player who's more your traditional, probably like more of a number 6, like a holding CM. So the bottom line is there's just so many more options now, which is great for excitement in the game, which is great for breaking up that monotonous feeling that many times drives players away. And if you know the numbers, you know that more than ever before, the interest in FC died down. And not only that, but players even were leaving the game because they were upset about everything overall, right? If the gameplay itself above everything is good, meaning if it's fun to go in and play the game, and there's so many differences between each game just because of all the different options, all the different ways to attack, all the different skills you have to learn to properly defend. Every aspect of the game has improved greatly, and this is going to lead to an excellent experience, more fun than all of us have had in years. Now, if you're a ratty player and you like more of the glitchy stuff, more of the shortcuts, and you don't like actually playing football, then guess what? I truly believe that this year, more than any other, the rats are going to be chased out of the game. With that being said, this is the squad and the setup that you can start day one of FC26 and dominate with. Now, I'm not going to go into some detailed breakdown because we already broke down how to defend, how to attack, the best way to succeed in FC26. This is just an example of a team that you can get day one. You don't have to worry if your opponents have the higher rated gold players, which we will do an example team later on with that, but I just wanted to show you a lower rated team that for the most part will be affordable. Maybe players like Mainu, Marmouche, LaCroix, they might be overpriced. You might have to find replacements there. It just depends on how much you want to spend on these players, how much you're willing to, wait to get these type of players if they are indeed overpriced, and decide if they're worth it or not. But the bottom line is this: a team like this, despite being super low rated, you might even go up against a team full of 84s, 83s, but this team is a viable, competitive team that can absolutely play the way that we just talked about. For instance, you want to play Lewis inverted, whether it's false back or the new inverted wing back, I guarantee he has it because of the type of player he is. You can do that. You can use Fratesi as that wide half or as a box-to-box maybe. Mainu, traditional number 6. You could play him as a deep line playmaker. You could play Bellegarde as a playmaker or a shadow striker. Marmouche, obviously a steal of a deal with elite pace and for a starter card. Very good shooting. Throw a Hunter on him, and he's good to go. Sinistera, very shifty, good, either wide playmaker or inside forward, right? I mean, you have all the options in the world. Same with Aït-Nouri. Thiago Jallo, very similar to LaCroix. Aït-Nouri, very similar to Lewis. You can go for the bigger physical, more defensive fullback type of players, which Lewis and Aït-Nouri could play easily. But you may want to go, like I said, with someone more fitting of the bill based on how they naturally play. Just use this as an example. Make sure you remember all the things that I said as far as how to defend, how to attack, how to succeed. In the attack, the name of the game, passing, moving, just like real football. Confusing the opponent's defense, pulling them out of shape, then boom, hitting them where it hurts. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please smash the like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and of course, check out the memberships. All the perks you get in YouTube, such as early content, priority speaking, and of course, the pride and joy of this year, our headquarters at Discord. Gamester FC, or just follow the link in the YouTube bio. It is $2.99 a month, but the value you get is ridiculous. I've talked about it a ton, so I'm not going to dig into it too much. Just know that if you want to reach your full potential, if you want help in all the areas you struggle with in FC, joining my Discord with our community of insane players, insanely awesome people, is the way to go. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.